Your Abusia, today we are going to have a conversation that is very, very conflicting and confusing when it comes to spirituality. We have Sunnis that are made to wear rags, and we have Buddhists that are made to go out there and beg because of a particular belief or a particular philosophy or theory. And the same way, we have awakeners who also feel that if you are awakened, you don't need to go to party, you don't need to have anything to do with these social systems. We hear this all the time, and the training say you have to break your ego. This also is in church, and we hear this all the time. What is this philosophy all about? And when because when you look at Mauritanians, I don't know their setups now, but they are people who have pride. What is called begging, they will never drop that level. Say they are going to beg. But after reciting the Quran, they are made to go out there to go and beg, just to show a point or prove a point that they have broken down their ego. Way very difficult for us. So it becomes conflicting. But the point is, if I should lose myself because of awakening or because of a particular belief, then what is the divinity in me and what is the meaning of awakening for me? If this is how I should go, we will go into this and more, because we need to understand that those in the plateau cave, they see reality with the shadows they see on the wall. But those who have been able to come out of the plateau cave and stand on it, see divinity or see reality from the light that sits inside of them. These two things are things as a way you get confused about so many things. Somebody was awake just 2 weeks ago. Somebody was awakened 6 years ago and has grown out of that awakening. The perception, the belief, the thinking, the abilities, the act, the movement, the attitude is different. Though both of them are saying they are awakened. These are things I want us to understand. Because through the mind, when you recognize this, then you know the divinity. Say, uhu se adjuninimu. And idea be I will reflect reality no I will show no is coming out of you and your mind. The understanding is different from looking at a shadow. And this is what I want us to break down and understand. And people also feel that unless you go somewhere, sit down and prepare a particular setup, that is what will tell you that you are summoning a demon. That perception is very wrong. And I want everybody to understand that whatever you activate, knowingly, unknowingly, consciously, unconsciously, it doesn't know it is enough. And it doesn't know you were ignorant about activating whatever it is. So these are things I want us to get into. So we will look at two great topics. And I pray we are able to get into these things, because people feel that, yemfra bronsam ye ne bronsam eni hweye osofo beko asore no wakọ akotutu demons no wakọpam demons apapa omo ani so owi a tight no ene offering no a oje ye no de bia koto PS5 e de amaneba. And when you are playing that game, clearly it says activate a monster that will fight for you. And sometimes you people have to be part of the game, summoning monsters to come and fight for you. Lack of knowledge indeed, my people perish. These are things I want us to get into. We are going to look at MALAMATIYYA. The Sunnis should know much about this, but I don't know how they calculate it from the Quran, and I don't know how they relate it with the Gnostics. So today we are going to break this MALAMATIYYA down. Somebody who practices MALAMATIYYA is a Malamati. So we will look into these things. So after that, we will also look at the Ars Goetia, so that we will put these two things together. When we understand these two things, when we are cursing somebody, when we are judging people, when we are actually taking hold of something, that is when we will understand that the same idea na me condemn, the same idea no and mikita. We are going to go through to these two strong topics. The ebedi kan ashe understanding Malamatiya as a mystery concept. I'm going to break it or go beyond what the Quran will tell you. We will do the mystery part of Malamatiya. Tonight is one of the times I feel like teaching children about spirituality. I made the same statement last week. I feel like teaching children because I feel yanya yenyinino sebe yaye polluted. And we polluted na ya ye no so eto nchenya ye problems no ama ya dwene na aye weak. We are not able to differentiate a setup and then real spirituality, and we don't even want to understand what spirituality is. So in our country, from bishop to every spiritual person, we don't solve national issues. We can only solve individual issues. Meanwhile, America will use the same spirituality and come and give you all sort of mpanye. More complaining about embassies. Obakonona psychic neto or make sika for the country with whatever power and that spiritual knowledge or educating Crawford. They don't know the difference between setups and real spirituality. This is where we sit. The reason we are not able to solve national issues. So that's why I always say that I wish I can teach children, because we share social media of later. Now we share how the youth are now reacting when it comes to speech and Crawford money are there. You realize that the work is working. Awakening is indeed hitting the youth. Not yenum. Yenum ne de say ye wiye ayede aba. Because I feel that you cannot plant real stuff in a damaged grounds. But we are trying. I have been fascinated by a particular ancient Islamic teaching of the Malamatiya, and therefore I want to use it in today's edition of Spiritual Hour. Adia we and America, the Sunnis should be happy I mentioned this word, and they should be able to break this word down, but they will still learn something from me today, though they know. But today I'm going to do the mystery aspect of this. There have been many situations in which our children go to school and return with attitudes and character traits we did not teach them. Obiya be nyinia owofia ntete ya wode be ma no yesronko. At the moment, especially obedu SHS ne de keke eka ho no na afei or exhibit suban bia eye strange to ne maame ene ne papa manfa anwo manfa ntetewo enti ukofa we wo he. Sometimes no na abeye frustrating e de ama parent no adentia because unim se wo ba no wasesa so much wo ankasa mpo ntumi explain it. And then many parents are surprised by their words, arrogance, and total disregard for their parents' instructions. Oka bibia onti. Their oka bia wouldn't make sense to abofrano. Na wanwa. Because you realize what ma bibia, what ye bibia ma abofrano. Enti only reason biara to say frena on jeso or wademu ho frena on jeso no waye kune wamuna achira chasa wo kasakora wo kasadodo afi kura de wan hwekora na onu wo beti ejina. You see, most of these things stem from what I call the villain syndrome. This is what I call it. Sadie we a ring crofo bebrebe omomma tie se nioma ni bi nkoye wa abofra no abrabomu a aya susu said ya wo ne honam no epre because makachiro pain say eye sunsum ana frequency na ati nipa ni mu no eno na drive honam no enti se wo kasa kire honam no na wo ne honam na eko a sometimes eye alignment ene de abetena abofra no emu. We all know how social circles shape an individual's personality and how even as adults what we hear about ourselves and how people perceive us go a long way towards shaping our attitudes. Obi wa wa na onye ntokwa pefo. Chese unji obi mpo ho. Ba wanhwe ni abehu se de obi beka no na wanhwe ni yi na sebe we descend so low aye wo ho poto te se sebio obi oye poto ankanda normal circumstance no on the normal day po hia we bi ontumi ne wo nkasa. Ba obehu no wakoka bibi ne wanhwe ni yi na wo so waba we descend so low na wo de nipa na ekoye den eko agi ni nyina ye de awate wanyi mpo no hwe se de ade we no etimi shape wo attitude nti abofra afi na onyini no ne ne nyonko mofra na sabe ni nyansa nkwa anim saa no wo hwe asa abofra we hu niama we ana oteti niama bi senya ede ba impact na ekreti wo na braboso. Now, what is my theory about Valianism? And how does it impact the minds of children? Ade we na me say yes, very, very important to me. There are hidden ancient secret teachings that are fighting against us today without our knowledge. And one that I have seen is the concept of malamati. Ana malamati. Sadia obe pronounce ni bia. Abusia. Your minds may hold who you are and what your aim should be. Your mind must hold it. Nobody walks without knowledge. Obiye ni madia osose, obiye ni madia otwen. But adia wadwene e ka kire wo no, eno na e play de man, pacho tie ni ye. Adia bi e wo wadwene mu no e play a role for you, but in a new environment with a new culture. Your higher brain focus could easily be shifted by the mere act of being labeled a villain in a context far removed from the truth. Obiya enyinya, obiya bona braba, obiya ba social media no so no nimnia ope, onimdia na oba beye, eye kakra bi. Ena edaswa omu jina dia no omu nimso omu beye ni me particularly. Nobody has ever introduced spiritual people to the world or to Africans or to Ghanaians than me. I sit with most of them. Ebi mo ha many omo tena se ya mi hu dia omo kita omo de ba. 3 months, 6 months later. No omo asesa. Hu omo na you were so shocked. Is it not the person I sat with? What has really happened? Yes. Obiya wa adwene, obiya wa namon. Wo de oba ni ko school wunim nia okwa akoye. Na okodru school ho no mo a environment no ebetimi a shift no ebi kura wo ho a asem obi beka minim boys ni bi wo ho no mo a anka omo mpe girls but omo from John we ye virgin kura wan hwa wo begimi nti wo behwe no na eniama bi a ana se incident bi ana environment bi a wo koto omu no na ye den asesa wo bobre na asesa wo su eyi nukure bi a na wo ankasa wonim no afiri mu. Ade a social media de ye pa de bi nie social media be boa ye but damages are cause so edoso ye. This happen when you join schools, groups, when you travel. Obiya wetu kwan bia tu kwan ma akonya adwen sakra ene adwen sesan ye chese baabi a wo beko bia no nia wonim a wo de koye no baabi a wakono so can also influence you. You know that your child abroad has joined bad company and is showing strange behaviors alien to your culture. And when you talk, they move at you and shut you down. Wa wonim say me be die. Oko school no na sebio smoking bo ye die. Na sex mpo ye den. Na krono ye den. Me be pa ne ko ahaba ya wasesa say. Me bayi pa no joining group ya wasesa say. Ebia joining group bo omo maame bayi. Ebia joining group kra ma omo maame ne omo papa ho ye omo niwuo. So omo be show say me maame nie anase me papa nie. Nti untumi mpo nka wo ba nasem. Dia wate dia edi egu ni tim. The early Malamatis lived in tightly connected religious communities where religious status could easily bring admiration. Sani ama we won ewo ho ukwa asori a de omo wo ewe a omo ka no se de ameka na hyase no ukwa mosque omo wo de we a omo so beka the same ade natural ukwa awakeness ni so mu a omo so wo the way a omo beka oh na me ye conscious onu so so wo the way obeka wa ye conscious nti e so oye poto onko party onko ha but is it possible ade we ni ye pese ye hwe because we ye conscious as say we break your ego down. How do you break your ego down in this setup system si ya ye titimu sebio se wo ye wo fi sebio na se wan hye wig na se sebio wo titi nwura na wo didwuredwura wo sebio na se wo ndidi wo plate mu sebio wo ndidi wo rubber mu sebio wo num nso wo rubber mu a na kire se wo fi system ni mu ana sebe se wo mfa support ne sam na nware sebio na wa ya awakening nti wo ho bon so a sebe enu na kire se wa fan ne wo ho ana. Today's world often faces the opposite problem, and no one wants to be a religious idol. In Krofono mo practice MALAMATIYYA no, aye from say malamati nka sunnist ni mu ana buddhist ni mu na nka wo be hu omo e wo pa omo no mo practice pa because they say me wiase niama endi wanim. Enti se wo ba form na wo sha na sometimes no why are surprised about, especially the Sunnis, omu krade, omu mpesa omu be jina suru aji nyankopon wani onyam. Inti no ayana eye nwanwa sesesi no omu break free from Islam. Say omu su jina benkro like omu ate omu ho. So we are Sunnis now shemia, you can come and educate us on this. But se wo sha na nka niam bi ti say Buddhist ne sankrofo no omu na nkomo ye the last people la omu pese omu nya fame omu njina soro omu njina top omu no mu nim bibia na nkomo no mu chi sa niam we. Our societies are struggling with isolation and a lack of moral guidance. In such a world, completely hidden positive examples as practiced in ancient Malamati mysticism may not always be beneficial, because the way anankese say ye preach ade no any the way ye preaching now no and the way necessary ye communicate ade no any the way ye communicating now no e kwa akoye se mfaso bi ani so because omu kita mumpo no omusu amasa ade we no. In this editorial, I will objectively explain the concept of Malamatiyya mysticism and note that this ancient concept is being used in movies as a psychological operation against our children. Ahana me person ni breaking it down. Emma ankrankra bia ete ase etie. Men drink that. Say sebio wo de wo mfre demon wo fie. Enti wo ba na wanya 5 years no onim said ya yesam nsi demon. Ahanum na ye na akom a ye kom ewa bibimam titiri ene Ghana no eye me nwanwa kakra. E kire say bibia upgrade from the church to bibia upgrade. Aden na kom no eda so te de tie aye doso ani hire. Any particular reason for this, the platform is equally open for education. Endre ya na mihu ayade bia mde mani ato for ma hwe tie ade ba ko a e reflect wo baabi a wote wo kurom ne wo maamu e ya adwempa enye se wo exhibit bibi pa bi wo abonten na wo mu aye poto ye mu bebre ya ye flooded ye mu bebre ye nipadua na aflade. The reason ti a flood etwa ye hu nyina ehia because ye na ye shape reality na ye hu no e de nti na make we akom na sem no wo bisa na wo hye akoma ye hu na utumi se problems e wo ho. The reason they cannot solve national issues endre ya na obi sani mi video we enkrofo bi achi obi a o se onu no ye se wulomo se bibi sa wo tension se ho ba bi video nu nie social media na nkasa lies nti wo video cry you can't untumi fa wona nsi wo na wakasa wo ho ba sa video we wo sha na e kire se obi a wahye wulomo eche ewo ni ti so no wa dress bibia te se oye bi pepepe enso se onye bia eno wafa it's going on everywhere se ye hu benkum hema ye hu nkoso hene ye hu oma hene. We don't know the difference. Obia your hene obia your hema ye hu ba bia bibia wo bibia elusu ni value gradually na se niama ye pretending say ye senya. That is when ensuo be fire because ade na ye na ye se na ntwibini ye pretend say ye say deep down within us. And yet the ewa ye muno and ye preach no. Inti yen to me reflect at the papa biya wa bonting. Baby ya bra bono abedu inti yen benefiting on a whole lot of things we claim say ye exhibiting no. Ye nyamfa so biya wum because they are ye exhibiting in ye the reading. In this editorial, the ameba beyano and amaka. If you are a Muslim scholar who understands this old concept and can explain it to our viewers, please come on Revelations. Let's sit and talk, especially the Sunnis. You don't have to agree with my stance regarding this mystery topic. Because you don't have to agree. Don't worry. We are open to hearing your argument and teachings. That is one thing about me. It is me that is teaching my mind, doing my theories, and I have a platform free. That is why I won an award of the Woman of Peace. I put the world together, just like gravity. Does he know you were a Christian, you were a Muslim, you were a rich man, you were a poor man, you were a young child, you were an adult? Said your gravity in him. Now, working on Obianu, you can call me the gravity. I have my mind and I am open to all. Biti Obianu so opinion. Just like flood na airbanu. Enim se fie we ye fe. Enim se fie we ye time. Afa Obiya. Sana metiye. Ana sana platform no ye den. Etiye. Until the platform is open, you can come and say whatever. So here we go. So mama where the platform stands, ye open to Obiya, ena yenso ye waya jene, ye de ye kabusia, the man crankrabia akwaba, at the best spiritual wadumedi kesi so. Today we are looking at a topical theory of ancient Islamic mysticism, and the baby ayakono MALAMATIYYA. And how it is used silently to influence the minds of our people, especially children. Is it influencing them in a negative way or in a positive way? This is what we are going to talk about. This is Spiritual Hour. I welcome us. I believe you, I believe you, I believe you, I send you love. I send you love wherever you are watching me from. I send you love, I send you joy, I send you strength. I believe you, I do not bless you. I believe you, I do not bless you. I believe you, I send you pure healings. I send you healings. I send you that help. I send you wealth. I send you that liberation, that light, pure energies. I send you love, I send you love, I send you love. I believed you, I believed you, I believed you, I do not bless you. I wish you a nature day and I welcome you to another episode of Spiritual Hour. Today we are discussing or we are talking about MALAMATIYYA. And I have told you the stages we are going to go. On this platform, call me the goddess of Akabulan. I am the pride of our ancestors. They speak through me, they smell through me, and they drop every particle of information through me to us. Yes, my ancestors, they find their pride in me because I am saying what they want us to hear. And I have placed African continent first, and I am giving out what would help us liberate ourselves. And what is that? That is knowledge. I welcome us to another episode. Abusia. The simplest concept of MALAMATIYYA, as I see it manifest in the children of today, is make people dislike you. What did I say? Make people dislike you. And this is gone beyond even children. Destroy your reputation by being as lawless as you can. And when people dislike you, that is the way of God. It is looking like this is how MALAMATIYYA should look like, which is very wrong. Ena edidia bampeni mfonim enti guwanimase nenya fame ye all sort of things nenya fame. As ridiculous as this may sound, that is the concept that we see now. You will see this on social media. And I am so happy that people are now arresting people and people are suing people for saying certain things about them on social media. It is helping. Who remember I was saying that they should arrest any pastor who gives bad prophecy and do things that are not in the book or that doesn't make sense. I think Nigerians are watching and I think they've made a move. I learned to say Anambra State, they've arrested 8 or 10 or more people, pastors, who staged miracles in their church. If we can do this, it will do us a lot of good. Because I don't see why that that June in Ghana, the blood of the innocent itself rises from the ground. And all sort of things happens, and it is a rainy season and everything, disaster happens. And you stand in your church and give a prophecy about rains and flood. So no pay, what's your time with Maame Grace? What say the American? Look at time, this flood is starting over 70 years. So if I should be in anywhere at the top, and you give prophecy about this thing, I will arrest you because I don't know why God will look at this error for 70 years and will not do anything about it. Because or sanya the one not solve the problems in until you would have to go to prison. You will go to prison because if you were a pastor and you prophesied that it will rain 3 days in Ghana. Now when Timmy anya share because onyankopon ka kire no waso di nsuyiri besa asase no so oye ark e ma no no mo fa nko nti ade na wo beka we no wanye ark anka. And I am asking that if you give that prophecy and it rains 3 days I rainy 1 day put na space be ma hwede aye kom. Now who your software na se wo say e be rainy 3 days no one fa solution. Tell me why you should not be in prison. E be rainy 3 days and crofo wu a what do you get? What do you gain out of this? And I make no. Say anything and let people insult you and get the fame. That is it. There is an old story of a Malamati priest who went to a village to preach. And the people loved him and admired him so much. So they started following him. Waya the papo and the nipa yeden and ya sono and the nipa yeden edinechi. As a Malamati, he had to stop this because it would make his ego more important than God. Internet say nka wo ya de papa mpa o mpese nipa ye den e de credit e ye den e de ma ho because the more a wo pese nipa bo wa ba so no na kire say wo ye den wo ji onyankopon ani onyama ye den afa na Bible ankasa so aka so ye God a o share ni glory with no man. Enti this Malamati priest ese there be on to me many pay hu ni njuma pa wa ye no no mumfa enyonyam hye enye den emfa ama no because eba ne sa obeji onyankopon enyonyam yen ye pese ye ka bone na bone ni si a ya san apride ye ho se ye ne ye ka se senyasi na senyasi na chesa wo na wo cost ye we will arrest you. This should be implemented as soon as practicable. We need this in our society so that kasa ne beba form and the people adona no mudi nachi enti papa isi there be. So he went to a place where people are not supposed to urinate, a public place, and urinated there. In teacher say, Papa na waye na nkrofo de anuonyam hye ma ne nti no. Ese so commit crime na ne hu ye hi. Na nipa sorry etia no. The followers saw the master's lawlessness and returned. They were so disappointed. Hey, ade a wo ye ya ye de anuonyam hye ma wi ene wakoye sei ene omu nyina mo ye den e pa na chi. He did this intentionally. Se nkrofo no be gyan ne dimbo ende ye nye sa. Enti na me say me hia soonest no no mo abe educate yen. But to the master, nkrofo na ye disappointed in him. Say we break him mra ya tro wo ho do not urinate here. Oho na wakodun so. He intentionally did that to sack the people away from him. And nkrofo no so ampane ampa ebe ye disappointed in him and omo jai ho and omo koye adesua be ne wo. But to the master, he had attained the required measure of a proper Malamatiya because en sese otumi eye ade ma nipa de abasobode ne yeden ede ma no esese abasobode ne nyina yeden ekọ onyankropon ho. He was lawless and he didn't care. And nti we break him rabi na emfa ne ho se we break sa amra no adentia because esese ode anuonyam hye no eyeden ede ma nipa mu bebre mu koti sa niama we in a way but eya monte ase yes say obi defend Yesu no otwa onipa naso no Yesu fa aso no yeden de tare ho na Yesu kan say so obi bo wasoma fa ba ko no so e ka homa no. What was Jesus practicing here? He was being a malamati at that point. So what made your child come back from school and suddenly start misbehaving and being careless? Se saade we ye de to abofra tirimu a na so ko school ni ye preachia na ekoni tirimu na abofra ne ba fie a ede ben na wo hwa abo behavior na abofra ne de beba. Say ye Christian school, say ye Islamic school na sa abofra ne ko na ye preach saade we to na dwemu a pacho wo oba wo hwa ne behavior be say. Imagine someone steals from your child in school and then accuses your child of being the thief. Not because you're programming akolana junisu to say intino. Oba efie no wan be kahwe wagye atum so ye kronfo Yesu nti dia wo bɔ masum ha me de hade no ebeka wo na wabom akɔ bibisa sɛ mo amukitakita saa gidie no mu no indeed mo practice ana from bishop to obi ekasi obi ebo obi adua obi aniwa all practice this malamatiya. And so anka na make no mu leaders ni na Muhammad also practiced the same thing. Obi sabio ekodun so ye o se ekoko pupu gu ba bi owo o se munja no na onye den onko na nsese otwe nipa na so ojai nipa na ye den e de amanyankopon se de ameka Yesu su de no ti mi bisa se yen no sen na ye practice na sen na ye communicate sa niama we e de ama mbofra no na wo a wo ye pani a wo hwe me sen na ya communicate ade we e de ama ho e de enti na obi ye obone aduosonson aduowotwe a wo di ni nyina ade che no. What kind of preaching is that? Where do you place that preaching? Where your question? Help me get answers in the comment section. Or the asama to obano so Christo ma ho brase enti. So wo de obano tena se wo de nkola ne bi tena se na wo hwe nsema ye de to omusu wo school a wenti me defend no ho na no ode. Or your daughter's friend betrays her trust. Onini na oka bibia kire no akoka na omode sire no. And everyone thinks that your daughter is the betrayer in the story because onipa na one wo ba na nya no ekasa na no yeden. There are people who create problems out of enviness and jealousy and then tends to play the victim. Ye won krofo bebre social media empanifo onu beba be pe problem wo ho. No we are wako play victim. In the mysticism of Malamatiya, your child must not defend themselves because if they do, they will be attempting to make themselves innocent. You are not supposed to be innocent. And that means that your ego is being placed at the top before God. Just say we are waking there. Adri bianye yao. And say okasano ne echire say we are waking. It doesn't work in my books. Because I know how to break egos. I am getting awakened to know myself. So what is the essence? If I should allow anybody to tarnish my image, then where is myself? I am trying to elevate the divinity in me. And you are tarnishing the image that is carrying the divinity in me. And I should keep quiet because I am awakened. No. I always say these things. I have children. I have grandchildren. I have in-laws. People look up to me. I make sure I do the right thing. So I will not allow you because you want to trend behind me, no. No, I will take you on. I said, if you get physical with me, I'll get physical with you. This is it. And I didn't yama way until we are waking there or become asama and say, no. I'm trying to say, I have found myself. I learned how to break ego. I don't have to look like in church. For you to know that I am awakened to prove a point. That is fake. Deep down within me, I should be beautiful from within. Now I exhibit that beauty no outside. A ye be no problem. Into nyania, why you awaken? onko undress well, onko parties, onko way, you just started. In the generic understanding of this theory, what your child should rather do is to accept the bad names, even if they are not true. And by so doing, they elevate God. Sana omo kanchrew. Why are waking there? And so this is why someone will pee or poo on Muhammad. And you say, let the person go. But disrespecting a big time. But as a maniko to prove a point. If I should do that to prove a God I don't see, say, Onuno Jina Nenanso, what about the God living inside of me? Me go onunani mase. Na me dia elevated ye ni hua na dia mihu. Then what will be the connection? Because enim guase ni enuonyam de ebo abura. Nti me gu nyankopon oti me mu nanimu ase a. Which nyankopon na me de connect with nyankopon ko a me pese me hye enuonyam no. So, it doesn't matter how intelligent your child is. Once people start telling him he is an outlaw or a wayward child, defending him isn't the way to go. They must act in the immoral activity. I say, we di. Nti se wo grumi wo ba like this me pacho edie be nipa and na will make it in future. This confusing theory says that though the injustice against you is real and your instinct to protect your name is legitimate, you must not, because of this. Ese se wo bre wo ho ase na nyankopon ma wo so. Ti ye hwe wasum ha da ne ha so faka ho ye den fama om. Ekopupu ni ye hwe gu so a menko. Yes, I are waking. Nti jonki biya be didi watem. It doesn't work in my books. So watch that. This ancient technique has been silently placed in children's movies and cartoons. Just to program children to gradually be projecting negative images and characters onto otherwise special children. Because obano ho jua enu ne ye. Nti sa obano ye programmed like this. No obenyini a nyame hu suro na Africa bema ogina ho na ne ho opopo Yesu nti ensuo eba fie ho na ogina ho so obo mpaye ye tu bola egu gatam ogina ho so obo mpaye prophecy na ekire se wadwen nya adwuma. Someone may ask, Mami Grace, what are you talking about? Dear nkra na mami keken, especially omo watching with fake account no omo se enyo ehi shia metahe enye nso omo tia na omo create fake account ahodo sanka me nkrofo no omo bodua ni bi anka wani be fira na wanya komposo aka ho ehi kurasu ametahe wo hwe nhwe wo yi wani so a eyi e na omo te ya pick topics omo pick topics na omo de yewe anka e fekeke say we are growing together. Why are you going with enviness? I'm born with this so. Oh, maybe sasa dia na okeka we na maka no fake account for no mama akwa aba na mo to say mugusu amunya content ne nkakra nkra omo me koka group asem omu apparently so omu nyina na omu pe show a host eyi na egusu e betumi over 33 million people are in Ghana, so you don't need to envy, you don't need to be jealous, appreciate it so you can also get to the top. It's just normal. So maybe sasa dia na okeka please let me break this down. Of course, my breaking her down. So, let me throw this common issue at you. Especially in modern entertainment. Have you noticed that children's movies and stories often follow the same plot? And an orphan who is maltreated and endures tribulations without complaint. When we say ade way trend go one way. Obi obeye yie bia Bible say. Obi beye yie agese wakọ asumu David ni ade. It's all over o. Sa na movies no so omo akeka. Say movie no chiso onipa na kwa yie mu ne maame ne papa ewu no wakoto no obi nchen ne ya maltreat no na obi akohu no waware ne no wabeye sikani senya. That's the trend. Ye dini kwati team no di aduane ase nkraman chance mu no da ball ebisu no da basement say niam when you project it and later becomes a hero that everybody loves. Do you remember the movie called The Thief of Baghdad? Muka is a movie no. Have you seen the many movies about thieves and their strategies? They make it so cool to be an intelligent thief or murderer in movies. Inti enkolani bi hweso na eye omo se nipa kum ene krono bono eye ade papa bi. Na nsen na brochire news yente yehu abofra bi ohwe movie a nani gi the way na nipa ne ku nipa e wo movie ni mu ono so starting so oku nipa ono kra de otwa number of people a opeso oku at a particular age. These are movies we watch, our children watch comfortably. It is not evil. Yes, so it is not evil because they didn't talk about Jesus, they didn't talk about whatever. Have you seen the many movies about this? What about the one that takes parents out of the picture by making orphans heroes? When you think deep about omo de bia ne maame ne papa wuye so obi ne maame ne papa wu no obi mbu ne maame ne papa no obi ne maame ne papa nhwe no a the same thing cause omo so hene ba ene dia ne papa te ase ana ne maame te ase enti se wo bambu na wo ba kate off a eti se wewu pepepe cause say akola no ade ye hwe no so e be block atete no yetumi eliminate firi ho na abofra ne fight one way out no be hero. They are making it look like o maame hu hia o papa hu hia atete a wo komu nso so ehu hia. How do we calculate this? O kan we obi beka so ono de ne ban da bi. Superman's parent died and he became a hero. Superman, why now say the ban Superman? Obi are. Batman's parent died and he became a hero. Spider-Man's parent died. Mechira movies am of Russia. Harry Potter's parent died. And same as Cinderella. Abofra ben and on share some movie way. Ye share some movie way and I measure ye calculate into this to prove a point. Say ye try to eliminate your presence in your child's life. And now if you listen, it's just a movie. So we can porn. Porn, yeah. Sam George. Or see obe brabrai. So we shane ye fake. E yo mo article na se who to me bad ya. And ye na wo ba no show movie a obi maame ne papa wu obe ye hero a. Your presence is what they are telling your child to eliminate. It is a mind game. Inti so wo kwa asore wo no ba no kwa asore ba. No okotenase no ohwe Spider-Man okohwe Maame Grace na obubefu no okohwe Spider-Man na wani beje dia and the minim the word to use for you. There are so many of them that they cut off the parents' opinion in the child's mind. This is what they are communicating. In fact, children's movies always seek to project a complete sadistic image. I say this with confidence. Or poverty, suffering, and negativity, which finds its way into being the essence of the movie. Inti abofra ne sha na wa bracing ho for niama we nyina inti wo dia obeka bia unye important. So tell me exactly what they are putting in the heads of our children. Tell me. A child who wants to be like Harry Potter or Spider-Man does not need parents. And if he doesn't need a parent, now what instructions be yeding? He doesn't see you. In his mind, he doesn't need you to succeed. He doesn't need you to be a hero. He doesn't need you to get to the top. Until umuye or best stand up against you. Or num debe or dear duane or she basement. You don't matter. What's some crom party? The idea is simple. Create a subconscious mind in children who may be wired for this psychology and be ready to apply it at any time. This is the agenda. This is why sometimes the church, in fact, religion, You thinking that bronsam oba will teach your horns. No. They've upgraded. The same way you've upgraded the church. Who feels a bronsam do ojina? The other day, obi say, almost so jagu bronsam. So I'm saying, I'm muncha bronsam kwa muso jani guni sono. Because so said that the ata de na uso jagu so anho be more. Because a jama that de yedin. Mu remodi ne body kura na amano. So anytime a child is unjustly accused, even if they resist, their subconscious mind accept it from a deeper place. Because many are the afflictions of the righteous. The Lord delivers him. This may cause your child to feel lonely when he stays at home with his parents and siblings because he doesn't need you. He needs to be alone. He needs to be lonely. So he can be a hero like Batman or Harry Potter. Because it wouldn't make sense to have a parent. Because when Wukra was someone to me, Babuano, she saw Obane thinking deep, not thinking wild there. One shakra no nya will be eliminating. And until now, Obane Betty, no Betty Gina, Obono be Bobby, Obakra Betty Miabu. A bimba chese kind, a womuso. Ni nipa hu woni fie enye ni nyina no de nano eka ebi konia memu wo mo ankasa omo ma omo awo omo atete omo. The TV bill na wa na utua no wo programme wo bana dwene against you na wo feel say empire na beboa. You need this kind of knowledge to shape your children. So abofra we dwen sa dwen we already wo maame no what prepare abofra no with this MALAMATIYYA. So obi ye obone afache no e na abofra na kohwe movie na me boss obi sa me say na abofra no mu ni TV so wo fie no omo nso so den na be influence. Oh yes, this is where knowledge is very important to all of us, and this is where you are not supposed to look at only your child. Say wo ba nye okay because wo ba no ono nko ani ni market, ono nko ani ni wiase onte island, so ono nko ani ni school, ono nko ani ni hospital, ono nko empo ani ni church. Or no in the community. We live in a community. That is why it's important say you best send this knowledge across. Then say yes, young choir who to say any ye, near your neighbors to say any ye. Because we show neighbor near ye and Banawaton. Because only the Bekwa could sign, they are a one muno or be impacted. Ama Ubano. Say ye nya start to say a dream saying, so be a by your meba, or be a dear ye madie, a ye my yina, and a we are to me a ye. No, so ye to you. Ensuo ye etoyi e fe sikani ife yin ni o wo sikani na wasi wo dan na wo de bogla proof ni camera sa abobo ho no e yo hia ni na dituo be ba wo so nti se won say ye one way traffic ye kun ye ho dem all. Such children easily pick up on the projected image and move along with it because okoshe a movie no ohun osikani ni ba wom. So ono ne yema ni bibia afoche nti osikani ni ba no said the Harry Potter movie ni be play no osikani ni ba ka akire no abofra ne to osika kora ndo ne kon na adwin nyina ne say o fa bere ni mu ono be yie mesikani ni ba no aka akire. Does it work like that? It may have been done for good in ancient times, as in the doggone wounded healer theory. Samre ne de ubeka se na ebia eye bibipa bi. Said they are doggone for no. Not make no. If they say somebody is a doggone priest, ni huwe kucha ahodo. Said they were tie na suma tie na nima tie ni nipadua ho. Pain a ode ne body na fam ansa na onye nimdi a ode healing crofo no. You have zero knowledge about it. When you see a doggone priest, they have so many marks and cut on their bodies and faces. So many marks. They have endless body piercings and so many scars. The scars on your body proves the pain and the things you've survived in life. This wounded healer theory holds that a person who has faced hardship may become more attentive, compassionate, and wise. Their pain can deepen their understanding of others. So it is believed that so ubenya knowledge na at least one kasa so go through that same process. This was ancient. In traditions such as the Dogon spirituality, healing is often not just about learning herbs. Nope. Rituals, no. Or sacred words. Even learning the herbs, Nipo, you don't have. To think of Dogon rituals, you have zero knowledge about it. Not to think of a sacred words, you have nothing. It is also about learning from life's difficulties. A person who has walked through suffering may gain wisdom that helps them guide others. Yes, say kwatre kwase obema obi a no watie ni din wa wu ni hwe e de na wo wode ma obi sansem we nyina eye kasa a ye ka de kire se so obi nim bibi ontumi ma obi bibi no bi ni bibi so a ontumi ma obi bibi enu nti na hu Dogon priest a ne hu kutwa any piercing so bebrebe. So the scars on them emo omuti obi pain a okomu no ase eno na muka wo Bible no so otini ni ama na edos ewrade yi ni free ni nyina mu. Now this is the code that is in the Bible. Or say ne man tapie ni mu ena munya amayaresa. In his stripes we are healed. The scars almost bro na ma ne honam nyina eteteye. It is talking about the Dogon priest. It is talking about someone who is practicing MALAMATIYYA. How is the understanding in your Christendom? It says when you go ase and sana onyame ayedey wama also. They are talking about MALAMATIYYA. I am teaching this because this is the most powerful psychological strategy for changing someone's character. Me say, maybe social media na minimade na mebeye. So I told you what I'm coming to do. Into ube se tam na ye Bible numpo we decoding them, talking about a pineal gland, talking about the third eye, and the pete baby. We knew what we were about doing. I am teaching this because one tisa nyama we yase a oba besesa abeto wa so besesa e wo nanfofo no mfafuom na wontumi nti ase adekon ekoso. It is based on the understanding that being good is better than merely seeming good. Ade amaka ni ama mienu se wo ye ni papa na wo looking like wo ye ni papa e ni ama mienu menye se wo yet amani pa hu se wo ye ni papa. Ese se nipa hu se wo ye nipa papa na nipa be hu so a ampa omu hu se wo ye nipa papa. Honestly, men dressing na social media no so enye dede na ye ba wo ground say ho kan poto said dia wote no te sa from within because ahofe e start from nipa mu e na e ba na bonten sa na hoden ayaresa nso so ete e start from nipa ni mu and ababonting. Enti me pa to tiase. Say who looking good. Now we are good. And yet the same thing. That your reputation is not important. That's what you do in silence. It simply says that you as a person are not important. Your ego is not important. How do you tell me this? Now, when this comes into ancient religious mysticism, it means the gods are more important than your ego. Inti no esese wo drop you ego ye twa wasuma na wada ne ba akona ka ho ye twa obi aso obi obeku obi sevira na wa fa to ho so ombeku sa asem we na ya na menti ase Bible na kan yo o se suffer not for a witch to live. Bible na so say bompa ye ma watamfo no mo ntena ase so they see what you become tomorrow. Such an antithesis. You can't project your reputation ahead of God. This is what they are saying. So you sing this song. Dienyame di mi besibia ma peneso oh dienyame di mi besibia ma peneso amano atosa nyumi bi God forbid dabi nyankopon kura na ope ba bi ada no wankoda ahiafo ofie koda sikafo ofie eyo sikani Joseph Arimatheus no offer Jesus tumbu kan the body ni proye da no otabe kan sembi me say the man is awake I say money is a defense. Indeed. And so, if someone accuses you of being a thief, they are helping you achieve a holy assignment of damaging your reputation for God. No way. This will never happen in my camp. Let them see you as a thief for God. Nyaminti. No. Let them see you as a prostitute because the self does not matter. Akeshimini. Say anything you want about the program I am doing. Say what you don't know about me. I will get at you. See, if you get physical with me, I will get physical with you. I'm telling you. So, I will not do anything that would disgrace me. I think about my children. It doesn't work like that in my camp. No. This philosophy is broken into many pieces, into many systems, many setups, many fraternities. I will be I don't know me can ashasen. So we a Buddhist tetemre no na say wutumi kokurum na wo begi showing or proving that what drop you we go. And until na no mo dey Aladdin atade na sense o mo hwe ahun. By the grace of God now they are all changing. Omo who say life is good. So they are all wearing what they are supposed to wear. This is why first, as soon as after reciting the Quran, just to drop an ego, no matter how difficult it is, to prove a point. Do I have to do that to break my ego? Or I can be myself and respect everybody and love everybody? I love and hate. Cause and effect. That's very simple. I don't need to look wretched like a vulture. I will see ball lasso. Potoni ateche. Na mintadi e praprewura to prove a point. No. And you'll be programmed. Why? These things are there just to program your mind. Oh, Maame wua. And obi didi watem na obi gu anim ase a ne nyame dɔ no so no hwɛ oba nyame be frɛ wo be sɛ wadwuma nyina ahyew sika nyina gu anim ase. This is how suffering is made heroic. Is unbelievable to me. Said ya amane aba be chese nyame dɔ wo a chese sɛ wo maame ebro me so. And no matter how much I look into our societal construct, I feel like we have serious work to do in programming our children to understand where these theories are played out and how dangerous they can be. In schools. Now schools, you cry na wudi sika koye scholarship. You see no we mu yenyame nipa fo. Or say there be. Say how would they even allow you to go and educate these children? Because some year worship every Wednesday, SNG offering school hustle. No more the aba na for raising millions of dollars in university. These are gatekeepers. I almost see omu visions. How do we even get to these children? Who now be taking all these episodes serious? I have told you, you can never groom a child you've given birth to. You give birth to the body. The energy dwelling in the body you have zero knowledge about. And you cannot groom your child. You can only learn that child and help him or her. Nanka say yesi nipa papa and titi nipa anko sofo ba enye funam. With all the anointing. And your body ni na ye wo ba. The energy dwelling in the body, you cannot fight. You can only learn it and help it. Know this and know peace. And you know, Misramu pa. Na sa niyama we no mo akeka gu ya adwene mu a no mo dia damage yen. Cause you accept this niyama and na ye apply. Say ya de papa. Ema yen. Meanwhile, a serious damage. Na ye cause ye ho. Ade na nyame do wa na so hwe. What be da? Odo ye nso hwe. It doesn't make sense. Now, let's look at understanding MALAMATIYYA as a mystery concept. Mamema we said the omo chire ye no ena maka achiro no said the omo program ye no ena maka achiro no. Now let me give you the mystery side of it. Now, I want to show you how the ancient masters taught MALAMATIYYA in its raw form. And Crawford way tie me. From last week you saw the grand phoenix. How the phoenix is mimicking the grand phoenix. And what happens in Saturn and Mercury. I told you this last week. TME. And Crawford way niche. They always copy the fake one. Then they look for a parasitic shield. No more the achichere omo. Na omo kasa. Na baby omo jina no. Any the one packaging no. It makes it look like real. You are responsible for your frequency. I have told you, ignorance is never a defense. And I want to tell you how our ancestors were teaching this before the pollution. The concept says that in a village where everyone wants to be seen as good, one person will donate food to people experiencing poverty and make sure everyone notices. Yena nanomo say na no mo kana said dia ebinom etimi beye donation ni ade e wo social media ne so to prove a point so mo ye nipa papa nso ebi ono anu nua koro ne nkasa eno ya another story. A religious person will pray loudly so people will praise them, or will feel wa compound house wo ese so obi ehun so no ye Kristo ni papa ntien de tongue si ne urobokobo na shalababa to prove a point. A third person also talks all day about how spiritual they are. Hey, we are through radio evangelism and preaching, proving that we even have the power to change the presidency. Yes, you will be better now 50 years. Damn your laws. Now, the masters are saying that all of this together create a dangerous situation in which people are becoming more interested in looking good than in actually being good. So our ancestors were just trying to tell us that facial services, and that is what we are actually doing right now. Sorry. Politics. Yedi akọ ahindie nukura ho nsama na nse metetene na me say, "Hey, baby aduru nie. Who did this to us?" The reason we cannot hold nothing, we cannot control nothing, because the people sitting at the top who are supposed to speak for frequencies to understand or obey them, they are not sitting there. The people sitting there are fake people. How do they control anything? The reason we cannot stop nothing. Our ancestors were saying that we should not give anybody facial service. This is what our ancestors were saying. And then this is where the original teaching of the MALAMATIYYA starts from. Saying a MALAMATIYYA no etie enyese sebi oda no hu jimi fo sebi no obi ntwitwa waso. No obi ndidi watem engu wani mase because wadru soro ho. Enti ese se odidi watem obi se obeso social media trends na we ye chatawale na misume. No, I will not allow that. You lie about me. It is my platform. If I say I will not give it to you, I will not give it to you because of complaints. So if this is why I am your enemy, you get at me, you say what is not there. What can actually transpire between me and you? We are two different people. The MALAMATIYYA were a group of Muslim mystics who emerged in the 9th century. Their names comes from an Arabic word that means blame or self-reproach. It means famille. Famille de upebia. Na mude ye ndum na moto no famille de ya upe o ewie mbre numu no famille de ya upe o famille de ya upe o said ya titi for no edebe onfa wonya ni ya upe we are sure so do we de ya upe obepene. I don't know why such a concept can be used to project bad behavior. I don't understand. Enti obi ebe gina ho aye ne ho sofo na ono wasete on nkrofo apampam na Yesu nti ese wo yekom Yesu nti nsese wo bisa question na Maame Grace say there be. It doesn't make sense. The concept suggests that if you have a garden and the plants are growing nicely, instead of praising yourself for being a good farmer and asking people to look at how beautiful your flowers are in a quest to show them you are a better farmer, our ancient masters are saying that soon you might stop caring about the flowers. You only care about getting compliments. Is this how we understand this whole thing? They say, last year, we did 102 acres of land. Koshe, fitida yedi abeni see from 2 years ni ekwe. Insu onja itoda. Na obiya obehu mbeni biya so ohu mba yedi ako speed the same da. Aye mystery. Ewe kura nase. Ena efuo no. Omudo ya 3 days na efu no nkrofo encourage me say me spray ase na do no me ntumi. Me so me say me spray the me spray chi na say say emuko no kom hwinim koko osam ne bae na omo ntua no so de ne ko me ho e kan ho e ka de nka me be tro loan application pesi wo platform use so mo mebo ame na me bre enti na nka makotwetwa nkrofo praise ade no na nka makotwetwa egu. I just need to manage my head. I don't have to allow what I have done to get into my head. I have to manage my head so I can do more. I don't have to allow that thing to get into my head. Now I start to commit errors. In a platform way, ebe ye kesiye chen platform ni nyinara. Now ebe ye envious before people. Nanka ma starting ye niyama. Nanka said the Crawford niyama bre me se membo advert. O de ba na ma show FDA blah 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 blah. No mo de o ma de ye ko. Enye say ye nya advert o. But to me for 5,000. Embreme now advert Crawford sha de o mu sua de no. Na advert abobe 1 million wom. I don't do those things. O fra na homa so afa. Minim ni amehwehwe. Enti I don't allow these things to get into my head. I know what I'm about. So I know how to break my own ego. I get angry. The next day I'm done. Amaneko. Me moving on. That's the issue. One thing that helped me when I was in the church is what I'm telling you today. I always drop my shoulders before people. At the moment I see, say, I'm standing before huge congregation, you know, na my mommy shoulders above from, na ma kai me. Say me masadi we and get it to me head. Everybody, obia or witnessing me was sorry biemu. May prophetics no can testify. Anasa may worship no can testify. I was one of the best in church when it comes to worship and prophetics. I was so good at it. But I was so calm as well. The only problem I got from the church was my wig. I am always wearing longer wigs. And the omodi abono nyo problem. Wig now asori furniture na ye short no so nyo problem. But meme de na me she na ewa no eno na ye omo problem. Nim so no mu nim difference no so a. When you are growing, you should learn how to break your egos. Instead of looking like Humvee to prove a point. This is what I'm preaching to you. It is a one another the other can say nkrofo praise adwuma na waye na memma and get it to head and no just say kotwitwa abeni nyina etugu inti na nka de wo mo ka abe na sem no na nka abe over 100 acres no na ka yetwa ni nyina etugu. Does this make sense? The MALAMATIYYA theory holds that spirituality can also take on that form. If you do good things only because people will praise you, your heart becomes attached to the praise instead of to God. This is it. And I'm Maame Grace. And I'm Maame Grace. And I'm na me hwehwe praise ni nko. And you say nka cameras, nka niyama ye nka cameras e de besi so amamu. We don't do any of that. Me say knowledge is what I have to give to the world. So that one is when I roll cameras. I saw somebody in my office. In fact, the new consultation grounds. Somebody told me something, and I don't know if they are still going to do it. Or send me pound chop. We pa die. ma we pa de ma ye ntwa to social media ye pa ocho ye hu bi da me say that ma me ntina me one kana listen, it's so beautiful to grow in silence. I'm telling you. Manipa nye surprised. Amene pa nkasa o. Wo ebinum wo omo pe omo abrabo no say e wo secret. It's fine. Wo pe wa abrabo no wa bontin, it's fine, but this is what our ancestors were saying when it comes to Malamatiya. Or say edwuma na wo ye no me ma praises ni ndi wanim kan you messed up. It is for your own good. At the moment you want people to praise you, and then for force ye niama omun to me. The baby ase no na fe adane nsem bebrebe. So this is what they were saying. So they thought, adia no mu kire yin, do good quietly, do good quietly. Or say do good quietly. Let God know that is enough. This is what our ancestors were saying. Enti na make akira mu say platform no so no, ye frɛ wo individually. Na ye bibi ma wa membe tworo wa ha. Okay say nanse na nkrofo tworo ni ma bi na mebeka say si ye frɛ mo 1111 ade bia e besi ye ne wontam no. That is how we want you to grow. Inti embeka e wo platform no so. Menye between you and your God because ye pese wo beka wa ha nka ye twe camera e de si so. This is it. Malamatiya. And this cut across religions like Christianity, where Jesus taught about the Malamati concept of mind control to his disciples. The Malamati mystics believe that one of the biggest enemies on the spiritual path is the ego. Bible kuraka ose ahomaso esei chen beye. The ego is the little voice that says, "Look how special I am. I am better than others. Everyone should admire me." We will not tell you this, but we tell you we hate it and we love love. Just the other baby the boss woman. What the chance in buy a bekataso? What the nkataso no so buy a bema wase ma de esiso. The Malamatiya were constantly watching for this inner voice so they could stop it. Or maybe being kotiatia, nan can crofo ba wa, ebimu, no more buachi, no more akoto, or more the idea mawa, I just almost fold you on my nine, a call mwechi, no ma pampamusi form. I don't do that. If you are doing that, that is okay. I am trying to communicate something to you. The way Malamatiya is communicated now is an error. Just like the phoenix is mimicking the grand phoenix I told you last week. Your ancestors were saying that drop that ego. That makes you make others look like paupers. Na wonkuwa na dia ubeka biye wom obi ehu so wo ba yo ntwan hwe fom onfa na no ntwitwi fom. This was what your ancestors were saying. But in a simply put, if you are good, be good. If you are bad, be bad. I said ya nine na adweye ne ntantakora wo nya hwe we urade anim. And you be who you are. This is it. It's always the double face that is the issue. That is what Malamatiya is talking about. As soon as someone praised a Malamati, they will become more careful because praise could make their ego grow. Ebi wo honoma, obi pe bibi kra wo mo ho a, omo di praise na eko. Enye praise, enem ema Saul, anko koku David. Emeya no. Wa followers yi omo ano. David eku mpimpim na Saul eku apim na Saul say na emedwa. David eku mpimpim na Saul praises. And then I will looking for. And niyama wo ye ni social media ni nyina, then I will looking for. Be honest with yourself. By force things. Die ni pain to me. No ye, and then I will hear. Pacho wa nkasa. Bu okra ade no ni bio. So na ho kire na obre adan wo ya ade ne wa bonte na wo da wo dem a wo tutu. What is the point? Adan wo ye ne obetumi na wo nto. And so the teachings of Malamati say that we must shut down our ego completely for God to manifest. And no na ye and God e na confusion no one. The masters confused this teaching as a spiritual tool for being a loyal and sincere worshipper of God. A great error. This is where most or a lot are caged. Understanding is not there. This has led most masters and mystics to hide their spiritual achievement and knowledge. Akika abubo binum edi ahye. Their appearance is simple. They did not wear special clothes or try to look holy. Some even preferred that people think they were ordinary rather. People think they were ordinary rather than saintly. It's so looking poto because they feared becoming proud. This is how they were trying to manage their ego. So, how do you manage your ego? And now also so ube looking poto. Now obi ana ho poto sebi otafrache fache me. Oni kapre obedi na so wa homaso 24/7 hu bi da. And tiasiani na eni ho. I remember when I was on the radio station. Na asofo ni bi ba ansa na me maba. Na asofo ba aku bi. Asofo na radio ni so ina. In fact obi entua sika. It was only me that was paying 3,000 Ghana for that 30 minutes I was preaching on the radio. Oh yes. Now asofo no ba. Let me leave that one. So omu baby omu akotena na wo kote omu awie na wo kowura kwa. Wo kowura kwa. Sebi o kafra na microphone na no. Jesus. So when I was going na kita mi bibi o, yeah, refresh my microphone mi bibi ya. We nye ego. I'm protecting me yare. Na omu pia nkrofo bugu fom na ochaka bi omu twiso a. Na o paake wo ka asi wo no ma na omu gina ho na omu twa photo. Nanso ye kwa boko obi ye nda fom. Because you must understand what you are doing. And no na ma ugro bigger. It's not about pleasing others or showing anything to people. Deep down within you. Dia wo beye na wa align and no na divinity in you no ebeye kese ebusua. They believe people should think of them as ordinary rather than for their ego to think they are extraordinary. Inti Mikaya wa sorry ni say you go programmer. Madam for baako an odi mechi. Tess, I always send you love. I always love you. I love you so much. Or you're one person when I started from the church, he's been following. The problem, he said, now I don't have time for her. But she's never giving up on me. I always love you, Tess. I love you so much. I don't see you often, but I love you because you've been loyal. Sa madam for no, you ko programmer. Na you ko tena sede bia, ono no mo de makonwa ma no. Because the way I want duku na wa je no ho holy no, ono de o holy o. Tess de o holy papa. Hey, madam for no, chai. O quote scriptures. So holy. Inti de bia ye ko program na, no mo de makonwa ama no. No wa tena so, me so metena nche ho boko. Omo bo midin a ansa na me sore ne me jeans trouser no. You should, wow, it's so beautiful to look like Unimushe. I remember when we got to airport at Antigua, na my name is student, na enam, moya abrufu. Na omo wo baby a omo de VIPs no, ekotina na meka echire. Na me ba na me hye me tie and die, na me nsa hye me bottom, na me hye me sneaker. When you see me dress, in actual fact, unless you know any amana ubehu matade e shemini ade na ubehu se bia onipa we you obi. I don't normally wear things that have brands on them. Just about me do ade nipa. I don't like things I actual brands na bobo ho. Aya ho maso ni binu no. Na me ka echire na me ba inside. Na me amen crop we be before feel say the way I look no so simple nti me need what it takes to enter into the VIP. Mankasa o akonwe bi si animo na metena because the people will come and look for me. If I don't go, nothing will happen. Na metena wonti me sure ya ne say omu die chire na omu ba na omu be fa me bag afa me kono omu ntumi ebisa me. Don't prove a point. You don't need validation if what you carry is intact. You don't need to prove nothing. What am I say? It's all about your frequency. Ebusia, as much as the ancient masters who started this said, they did not want MALAMATIYYA used to teach people to do bad things. Our modern era is different. A man for you so and the man for air to form. Ebia beye nipa achenyibi. Ebusia, to me, MALAMATIYYA is a concept that is difficult to criticize, but dangerous to the mind and soul. My point, my opinion. I say this with my 2 feet on the ground. They will tell you that the Malamati path is the path of a hidden goddess. But what is the spirituality of self-awareness and self-control when you are teaching me to ignore the self? What is the spiritual self-awareness about this? How are you teaching me to ignore the self and concern myself only with what God says? Does this make sense? Then what is the sense of awakening? What is the sense of consciousness? Sometimes how we apply certain things for our own selfish gain and bitterness, and how we condemn things we wish we have that we don't have. And we use all these philosophies to justify them is so miserable. The Malamati mystics believed that spiritual pride is one of the most dangerous diseases of the soul. So, what is spiritual pride and the physical pride? How do you differentiate these two? They feared becoming successful through self-awakening. This is the fear of them. But in America, what is spiritual pride and physical pride? What's the difference of these two? Pacho. Last week, me catch will say, Obia, or say, or yes, spiritually powerful. No person or exhibiting physically is a shallow being. Because spiritually, in some communication, but when you communicate and you look like a mad person, it wouldn't even make sense with somebody in this jacket. So if you feel you are a spiritual person and you are powerful and you are exhibiting it physically to prove a point, you have zero knowledge. So they try to hide their goodies and avoided seeking others' admiration to project godliness. It is a the way we understand this Malamatiya. Some modern people who claim to follow Malamati ideas misapply it in practice. I had a problem, no. And the most dangerous is what appears in children's movies and stories. Then I make a trust that I was a demon. Na ye will say me na me demon or you a joker. Who got to game ma ubanendra? Many will want a demon. Why must you even attempt to hide your virtues? Why? In practice, people intentionally behave strangely, rudely, or provocatively, so others will criticize them, so that your mind will be at peace with attaining a Malamati virtue. This is an error. This is misapplication. This may now cause your children to start doing things just to be criticized and called names. Now what benya fame? And when I appreciate it, say it's gone beyond children. Ghana there, all over. Say and say udinya who to me famous. The psychological effect is that your child is no longer seeking self-pride or may no longer be worried about her reputation. Obi say no one say na onye. If we get to this point, what becomes of us? Said ya dreamia. I know some parents get so confused when their children suddenly stop caring. They are simply rude and do not care about whatever disgrace they may bring to you or the parents. Parenting is a very big responsibility. So all these theories, ebeyi woman nefiho, and ebeyi papa nefiho, just to manipulate the child. Or the way you were abofrana junimu, and no. Some may say it is a result of teenage attitudes, because nina bibi on reason the amount. But most of these attitudes are learned from movies, music videos, and stories that secretly embed these ancient concepts in the soul, in the heart of the children. Inti say ya wo se wo ba no na damfo no ne nam ne pe no say na it goes beyond that. Eniama wo ba na ehwe, you have no idea. Enuti na abofra no se sie ombu hwe. Ofili se wo hu nhye da ehia. The original Malamati schools, they do not teach children to look for a change to blame. No. Said they are Muslims, no, and Sunnis, no, no. But when these things are copied wrongly for others' advantage, that is when we miscommunicate all these things or misapply all these things, great knowledge to people. But some modern interpretations in movies and films encourage people to think and adapt the attitude. I don't care if everyone hates me. Ironically, this can become a different form of pride. So be at time. If you don't understand me, I am okay. But why do you hate me? The ego that wants praise and the ego that wants criticism are often playing the same game. Both are still obsessed with how others see them. I don't want this to happen to me. No. We must encourage our children to know themselves. Very important. Understand their strength and weakness. And elevate their success and progress. If your child is standing at this point, you have a child. This is what you should disperse into their system. This is very, very, very important. Because God himself chooses great people for great stuff and great agendas. Unpaid the weakling. Because if you are not a great person, how do you fight a great battle and win? So what are you communicating to your child when it comes to MALAMATIYYA? How do you survive? How do you survive? There is no spirituality in accepting a bad name and living a painful life. No, it's an error. It's a great error. But be happy because you're good inside out. Error sa obema sa de na si batma wani nje. Say de awote wono say de nipa hu no omoba wo chambers asa na wote. Woda wo mpa so na wodwene a ne awoka no sa na wote. Eno na ye spirituality. Eno de ma ema wo anigye. Eno enye ahomaso. Eno enye ego. Enka say why you awake nti obi nse wudin na onye wante de a ene fine. Ba wote na enye sa de a. If it is physical, get physical with the person. And be good inside out. Be positive. Because say we are positive, it helps the soul and the spirit to do more. So we are positive. When they send negative to you, it expels it. Me catch you last week. So that papa beba also. So obi ehu. So obi hu ye. Nipa ho abdwembone na bone beba also because that is how gravity works. Enim say we your Christo ni way, but it works according to your vibrations and frequency. Please think deeply about everything I have said today. Ahanam du bisi. Shalom. Peace.